There is no red, white, or blue in this country. The only color that matters is green because we live in the United Corporations of America.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Status Coup. My name is Placone, your host. The date is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. You guys know it's Tuesday, so that means it is my day. I'm filling in for Jordan Cheriton. For those of you who don't know, Jordan Cheriton is on parental leave. He recently just welcomed in a new member to their family. So there's a new member in the Status Coup fam, River Cheriton. So welcome and hope Jordan and the family is doing very, very well. And I'm very excited to be here with you today. And we got a lot to talk about today. Boy, is there a lot of news going on. So let me give you a rundown before we jump in. So Trump is messing with Hollywood now. He has some ideas for the film industry. And I can tell you, as somebody who lives here and dwells in said industry, his ideas aren't good. Spoiler, they're not good. Also, we've been covering a lot of the issues around the Palestine protests, and in particular, what they've been doing to people in the state of Michigan and students at Michigan. Well, we got an update on that, a little bit of an update with the AG here. Also, Democrats, another fumble from the Democrats as far as their organization and their refusal to let new ideas in. We're going to have an update there. Student loans, y'all. We're going to dive into this, but I'll just put this right. I'll put this out there right now. If you have any type of student loans, seriously, this is not a joke. This is not. If you have any type of student loan, check today. Make sure you're okay. Make sure, like whatever it says, just make sure you're okay. Seriously, we're gonna go into why things are getting a little wild. And you know, we used to take air travel for granted, sort of. Well, we're not going to be able to anymore. Things are kind of going pretty wild in the air traffic control industry, particularly at Newark, which is, for anyone not in the know, that's Newark, New Jersey, which is an airport. It's basically one of the New York City airports. Obviously, it's not in New York. It's across the river, so to speak, in Jersey. But it's pretty much one of the regional airports. There's a chance that you might fly into Newark. The last time I went to New York City, I actually flew into Newark. So it's a very, very, very busy airport. A lot of traffic through that airport, going all over the country and all over the world. And things are getting a little wild there. We're gonna talk about that. And let's start with Hollywood. So our first, let's go to the photograph of the Truth Social. I think it was on Truth Social. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so here's what Trump had to say yesterday. The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering, and my cat's going crazy, by the way. I don't know if you can hear her, but Lucy wants to say hello. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated. This is a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. Okay. We're gonna go to some updates on that, but first of all, we'll break apart some of it. So he's not wrong that the film industry in the United States is suffering a good bit, and particularly here in Los Angeles. Why is it because other nations are spreading propaganda and they're trying to lure American filmmakers? No, it's not because of that. Here's what it's really all about. For the longest time in Los Angeles, in particular, and quote unquote Hollywood, they made it very, very difficult for people to make things here. Between the cost and the permits and the just everything involved. It costs so much more to make a movie in California than it does almost anywhere else. So for the longest time, California said, well, what are you going to do? We're California. We're the capital. Well, the rest of the world responded and they said, well, we're going to have our own, we're going to do our own thing. And it's been working because simultaneously, what else has been going on? Well, there's a demand for international content now, more so than ever before. There is an unlimited demand for content because something new is always happening. See, back in the day, everything used to be at the behest of the cable schedulers. Well, that's not the case anymore. Why? Because we have streaming. And I'm not going to get like too insider baseball about the industry or anything like that, but that's basically the gist of it. Things are changing. And you're looking at something like Squid Game. See how well that did. That story has nothing to do with Los Angeles, nothing to do with the United States, and it is crushing. So there's a demand for content all over the world. So now things have become a lot more international, and it's also more economically feasible to shoot in other places. Now, to an extent, it's always been that way. But more so than ever before. So that's what's really going on. And California is starting to wake up to this as a bunch of sound stages are laying barren. Because keep in mind, everything I just told you, factor in a couple other things. One, the pandemic. Two, a couple strikes that had to happen because of the studio's greed. And we're talking about 3 strikes and then one that was just barely avoided. And then on top of all that, what else do you have? The fires. So you factor all these things in. Things are looking a little strange in Los Angeles right now, and that's putting it gently. So Trump's idea for all of this is to have tariffs on anything that's made elsewhere. And this would be an absolute freaking train wreck. So let's go to the CNN piece first to dive into this a little more. And we'll see what happens with this in the big scheme of things. So Trump's Hollywood tariff threat is already unraveling. So President Trump's trade war had until Sunday night centered on goods, cars, toys, food, clothes, tangible stuff we put in and out of virtual and physical shopping carts. But those goods make up less than a quarter of the American economy. The bigger chunk of our economic pie is known as services. Think Google, Netflix, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. And yes, the Hollywood films industry, Trump now thinks needs saving with tariffs. So this is then they just kind of rehash the tweet that we already covered. So John Voight, who serves as one of Trump's Hollywood ambassadors, said Monday that he met with Trump recently to discuss certain tax provisions that can help the industry, some provisions that can be extended and others that could be revived or instituted. Now, here's something the article points out. But that sounds like mostly incentives, not tariffs. In other words, Voight recommended a carrot and Trump announced a stick. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday appeared to prefer a gentler approach, calling on Trump to work with California to create a $7.5 billion federal tax credit for the movie and television industry. Currently, tax incentives are exclusively the realm of states and municipalities. So let's go to that other piece from the Hill, because I think that also kind of echoes, what we're saying here, or basically it, points out the differences there. So John Voight says he presented Hollywood tariff plan to Trump. So the Oscar-winning actor, John Voight, says he suggested the idea for tariffs on films made in other countries before President Trump floated the proposal. Is that really what happened, though? After meeting with many of the entertainment leaders, I have brought forward recommendations to the president for certain tax provisions that can help the industry, some provisions that could be extended and others that could be revived or instituted. This would help the movie and television production in our beloved theaters that are so important to the American family experience, he added. Trump said shockwaves to the entertainment and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's the tweet again, or the Truth Social post. I don't know. What do you call those? You don't call them tweets. You call them social post. I don't know. So our industry has got, okay. So the plan presented to Trump, along with the actor's dire assessment of filmmaking in the U.S., calls for tariffs in certain limited circumstances, as well as incentives for domestic-made movies. So here's more from that quote. Trump's a great businessman. That's debatable, but okay. A leader and a caring person that will always do the right thing for this country. Also very debatable. The people in our beloved entertainment industry, he said. Boy, that just sounds like a propaganda line, doesn't it? Like, that just sounds like something they would say about a dictator. Like, they're always looking out for our best interests. And they can have sex up to 45 times a day. Did you know that? So It looks like the people responding to Trump on this issue, again, are suggesting tax incentives and rebates and things like that to kickstart the film industry, as opposed to tariffs on foreign-made movies, which is absolutely ridiculous. Will not work. Will lead to less work for everybody. Will make the situation even worse. Whereas tax incentives is what needs to happen. And I don't like the fact that that's the reality, but that's just the reality, y'all. Smash the like button, by the way. Smash it. Share this stream. Like this stream. We got a lot of stories coming up. My name is Ron Placone. I am your host for anyone just tuning in. Filling in for Jordan Cheriton, who is away on paternity leave. Paternity leave with their new child. Very exciting stuff. Congrats again to them. So the tariffs would not work in this. Here's a theory that I've actually been floating around. I think that Donald Trump just found out what tariffs were recently. So now he just wants it to be a solution for everything. Like, I think it's just recent that he found out, oh, these are tariffs and I can kind of do them whatever I want and no one's doing anything about it and no one's stopping me. So I'm just going to use them as a solution to everything. Oh, I know about tariffs now. Kind of like when somebody is new at playing guitar and they learn a new song and they just can't stop playing the song. That's how Trump is with tariffs. He is going through his, hey, I just learned the intro to Wish You Were Here phase with tariffs. He's just all over the place. He's sitting there going, hey, guys, check it out. It's Wonderwall. They're like, Trump, this is not appropriate. We're at the Pope's funeral. How did you get a guitar in here? So that's what's going on. That's what I think is going on. So he thinks that tariffs would be a good idea in this case, which, by the way, they wouldn't be. The reason stuff's not being made in California is because it is very hard to make something in California because there are just no tax incentives. When you look at people who truly finance films, these are people who have very, very deep pockets, or they're big studios, they're big executives, they're big financiers, et cetera, et cetera. So what they really want are a bunch of tax rebates because they're going to put millions of dollars into something. So they want a big rebate that's going to give them a bunch of cash back. So that number that they initially put in gets a little smaller. And of course, all these numbers are absolutely wild for people like you and I. But for them, it's just business as usual because they're saying, well, we're going to put in, I'm just pulling these numbers out of the air. This is just for an example. We're going to put in $5 million. All right, you're putting in $5 million. Well, in California, that $5 million is going to be stretched a lot more thin because you got to pay this obscene daily fee for your permits to shoot anywhere. You got to pay all these things to the state, et cetera, et cetera. All this red tape you got to go through, all these fees you got to pay. Whereas in other countries, let's say you go over to Portugal or Spain, those are some of the countries that I know are really rolling out the red carpet, or even a little closer, Mexico. They have all these tax incentives and they don't have as much red tape. So all of a sudden, your $5 million goes a lot further, one. And two, you're also getting all these rebates. So that's $5 million. You're actually only spending about $4 million. So then the movie breaks even at about $4 million as opposed to $5 million. So where are you going to shoot at? So that's what's really going on here. And by the way, some people try to make the quote labor argument, saying that, oh, well, what Trump is doing is pro-labor. It is not pro-labor. If it was pro-labor, Trump wouldn't be simultaneously trying to destroy all the labor protections we have in this country. Also, the way the film industry works, nothing's guaranteed to shoot in California. You know, if you talk to people who are professional actors, professional film people, they work all over the world. It's always been that way. So if you were to enact something like this, it would not have any type of desired result for more work domestically. It would just lead to less work for everybody else. And also, Colin, can you put up the Truth Social post again? The Truth Social post. Let's go ahead and just break this down one more time. The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentive to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Again, it's the big studios making these judgment calls, not the filmmakers themselves, not the cast, not the crew, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see. Hollywood and being this is a concerted effort. So let's focus on this next part here. This is a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Okay. This post is messaging and propaganda. This is the classic, you point one finger and three fingers are pointed back at you. Imagine if a leader from another country said this to their country. Imagine if Putin said this in Russia. Imagine if someone said this in the UK or Canada. Imagine if literally anybody, if they said this to their country people. Oh, other countries are trying to lure our filmmakers away, and it's propaganda. It's a national security threat. All those dangerous stories that people are telling. If another country did that, we would be pointing our fingers at them going, "Oh, see, at least we have freedom of speech and freedom of ideas here in the United States." But here Trump is doing it. This is nationalistic fascism. This is authoritarianism. This is authoritarian wannabe nonsense. And again, his solution makes 0 sense. 0 sense at all. So that's what's really happening here. So hopefully this doesn't go anywhere else. Hopefully they do better incentives, which is what they should do. They should do better incentives so more of the people at the top can start producing more in California and just domestically in general, which will lead to more work for everyone else. Will things still shoot abroad? Of course. That's always been the case. That'll still be the case. But yeah. So that's nonsense. The whole tariff thing is not pro-labor at all. It is actually nationalism and fascistic nationalism is what it is. And also, here's a fun little thing I wanted to add on this. He talks about wanting movies to be made in the United States. Here's something interesting. His products aren't even made in the United States. Friendly reminder, Colin, let's go. If you don't mind, to that Dropkick Murphys video, I wanted to end the story on this just for fun to point out one last dose of hypocrisy in Trump's statement about the film industry. So the band Dropkick Murphys, which the old aging punk rocker in me has to point out that I'm more of a Pogues guy. But they recently had a Trump supporter in their crowd who was showing off their MAGA gear. And the Dropkick Murphys have been outspoken against Trump. They are not Trump fans. So this happened recently at one of their concerts. And here's what happened. Let's go ahead and play that video.
Where the f*** are all the other punk bands? The reason we speak out, we don't care if we lose fans, because when history's said and done, we want it known that Dropkick Murphys stood with the people, we stood with the workers. Okay? And it's all a fucking scam, guys, okay? I want to propose, in the name of decency and fairness, sir, I'd like to propose a friendly wager. You can't lose this wager. Would you, in the name of dialogue and discourse, and I appreciate you being here, would you agree to a friendly wager? He says sure. That's a good sport. Well, first of all, do you support American workers? Of course you do. Of course you do. Okay. So, and do you support American businesses? Obviously. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, because we don't go around fucking bragging about it, but Dropkick Murphys always sells proudly made in America merchandise only. And here's the bet I'd like to make. If you lose the bet, we switch shirts, okay? If you win the bet, I give you $100 and the shirts, right? That's why I said you can't lose, right? All right, Matt, can we get a little drum roll, please? This is fucking high drama here. American made, sir, could you both turn backwards? Don't worry, no one's gonna. He just needs to check your tags on your shirt and your hat. Just need to see where they're made. No, the MAGA shirt, Let's see where that's made. It's made in Nicaragua! So, no, He is a good sport. He's taking the shirt off. We're taking crime off the streets. God bless your fucking heart. That's a good sport. You get one proudly made in America Dropkick Murphy shirt.
So for those of you who didn't catch on, what happened was there was a guy wearing a MAGA shirt. He made that wager. And credit to the person. They were a good sport. They said, yep, this isn't made in America. Here you go. So that's, again, just putting a period on this story. The true hypocrisy of Trump. The tariffs are not a solution. If you want to see film production come back to the United States, and in particular in Los Angeles, support the incentives. There's a lot of groups out there, grassroots organizations to bring production back to Los Angeles. Support those. Support SAG-AFTRA. Support the WGA. Support the animators union. Support IATSE union. Support the production assistants union. That's what it's really all about. That's what it's really about. And you know what? I'll shamelessly point this out. If you want to support some true independent film, I got one out right now. It is called Left It Wall. All of my cast and crew were local to Los Angeles, and about 60% of them were local to my area in the South Bay. So you can check out Left It Wall if you enjoy anti-capitalist comedies that call out the Wall Street machine. And it's on Apple TV. It's on YouTube Movies. It's on Google Play. It's on Xbox. You can go to romplacone.com and you can find out all the places you can watch my movie, Left It Wall. And I'll shamelessly request that you check it out. All right, let's go to the Michigan story. So we covered this extensively on the show last week, where we talked about the cops literally kicked in the doors of some of the student protesters in Michigan. We had that footage that we obtained. Still love the commentary for that footage, for those of you who remember from last week. But before we jump into the updates here, Colin, can we go to some of Status Coup's coverage that we got here? So Status Coup did some exclusive coverage on this. We got an update for you, but let's go ahead and set it up on the tee on how we got here. And let's go to some of Status Coup's coverage.
Show me your hands now. Hands up. Hands.
Hey, back this way. You got a bunch of stuff. You got some milk crates for what? Fucking poster making?
Some paint! It's fucking paint! Oh my god! Spray paint! Wow!
How much are we paying now for that?
You guys gonna paint some pictures? Spray paint!
Oh no.
Are they working there?
Yeah, you gotta put that paint away real quick. That's what you found was paint! You found paint!
Tickets on the wrong car, fucking paint on shit.
There's also envelopes. The first one they had was envelopes. There was like papers, like paper and
Flyers?
like a yellow padded manila envelopes that like mailing stuff. Like that. That was the first one.
I don't think they know what art is. I think this one looks like she's about to take a pee on the back.
On a day-to-day basis,
That's just state art and
Make sure you protect that paint. Let's get the license plate of this guy.
This cop's punisher patch. What are you punishing? Little 18-year-old with little twig arms? You're real tough.
the blue line.
Oh yeah, the thin blue line. Oh, our father's
That means
comrade.
that everything they've seen here.
Oh. We have a kinetic please secure the perimeter. bunch of unmarked vehicles.
That's the crowbar they brought.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, didn't get to use it on the windows, huh? Too bad.
They just got to use it on the door.
They're gonna use it on an immigrant later.
Yeah. We remember this one tattoo right here. This one's tattoo on her arm.
Yeah, you do care.
You should quit your job.
Yeah, you fucking do care.
You should quit your
I
job if you
fucking
want to be a
suck.
good person. You're gonna be separating families next.
Oh, they're doing it now. This is what it is. This is just part of the whole thing.
Oh, that's what they like to do, huh?
This is a practice.
Look at them.
It's a drill. Y'all are running a drill. Do much worse shit. Maybe y'all get to go down to El Salvador and kill some people. Dude.
Oh, okay. Just like, dude, down
And again, shout out to the shout out to the commentators there. I remain a very, very big fan. So that's been going on. Here is an update. Let's go to the article now, Colin. Here's a bit of an update on all of this, or some of this at least. Michigan AG drops all charges against 7 pro-Palestinian protesters. So Michigan's Attorney General, Dana Nessel, announced on Monday that she was dropping all charges against 7 pro-Palestinian demonstrators arrested last May at a University of Michigan encampment. The announcement came just moments after the judge was to decide on a defense motion to disqualify Nessel's office over alleged bias. Defense attorney Amir Makled said that the motion largely stemmed from an October Guardian report detailing Nessel's extensive personal, financial, and political connections to university regions, calling for the activist to be prosecuted. So let's go ahead and translate this. They decided to drop the charges before they got, basically, they got caught. Basically, there were all kinds of conflicts of interest going on there. They knew that. They saw the writing on the wall, or dare I say, the paint on the wall. And so they decided, oh, we better just drop some of these charges. So, little bit of good news. We're not quite out of the woods yet here, though. So we'll scroll down a little more. Let's see here. This was a case of selective prosecution and rooted in bias, not in public safety issues. We're hoping this sends a message to other institutions locally and nationally that protest is not a crime and dissent is not disorder. Now, the office is still moving forward with cases involving the alleged off-campus vandalization of the home and workplace of several university leaders. A handful of other cases against campus protesters still have not been dropped, but they're hopeful that they will be. The protesters and their supporters, among them U.S. Representative Rashida Tlaib, had previously alleged bias in Nessel's office, arguing that the university recruited her because she was a political ally. The Guardian's investigation revealed concrete evidence of conflicts that defense attorneys argued factored into the prosecutions. Among the findings, the story revealed that the office charged pro-Palestinian protesters at a higher rate than other state prosecutors. Interesting. All right, so a little bit of positive development, but still not quite out of the woods yet. And again, we'll keep an eye on this. We'll try to obtain as much footage as we can. And y'all, when you support outlets like Status Coup, you support these stories being put into the public spotlight. Keep in mind, this, by the way, came from The Guardian. You're not seeing stuff like this very often on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News. Usually it's independent sources or just foreign outlets that need to publish this type of stuff or that will shine a light on this type of stuff. And I'm not saying The Guardian's perfect. It isn't. But a lot of journalists have to go to places like that to get their stuff published. People like Greg Palast, nowhere domestic will publish this stuff. He's got to go to places like The Guardian. So here is Status Coup. We cover those stories on the ground. We put the pressure on the ground by telling the stories of people who their door was kicked in by cops with no freaking warrant and they did nothing wrong. And the cops were confiscating paint. Those are the types of stories we break here at Status Coup. And you're seeing how important it is because you're seeing how it does lead to some action in the bigger picture, in the bigger scheme of things. So you know, if you can become a member here at Status Coup, you can go to statuscoup.com/join. There are different tiers, and your membership isn't just supporting on the ground journalism. You also get some cool stuff in return. You get members calls, you get other cool perks, you get hangs on Zoom. I've been to a few of them myself. So yeah, statuscoup.com/join. And you know, don't forget to leave a super chat. I will get to all the super chats at the end of the stream today. And if you're thinking, you know what, Ron, times are pretty tough, I don't really have the means to support right now on any capacity, I totally get it. That's understandable. That's okay. Please like this stream, share this stream. Those are ways that are free that you can really help support what we're doing here over at Status Coup. And by the way, for those of you who might have tuned in late and you're like, who's this guy? Jordan Sheraton is on paternity leave, and I am the Tuesday fill-in. And it's good to be back here for my second Tuesday week. And good to see everybody. So we're going to move. Let's do student debt next, Colin. Let's go ahead and go to the student debt story. And then we'll do the airline traffic control story. And then we will close with the Democrats story. So this is, again, I mentioned this a little earlier in the stream. I'll give this call right now. If you have student loans, check on everything today. Even if you're like, I'm not in default, check anyway. Check anyway and make sure, because a lot of people, they were thinking that they were not in default. Turns out they were in default. And now all of a sudden they're just in collections. And people's wages are going to get diminished. So it's pretty crazy what is happening right now in the student loan space. Let's go to the first tweet there to start, Colin. So breaking, the Trump administration is starting to put millions of defaulted student loan borrowers into collection and threatening to confiscate their wages, tax refunds, and federal benefits. This is per the Wall Street Journal. And by the way, a little bit of a backstory here. So what happened was a bunch of procedures with student loans were changed because Biden did pass something that allowed people to refinance, and then they had a lower student loan payment. And then the Supreme Court said, oh, wait, you can't do this. So a bunch of things were just in flux. So now there were other programs where you could refinance, but people had to resubmit. So a bunch of things were just put on hold. They had been put on hold prior because of the pandemic. So things were just sort of a mess in the student loan world, an even bigger mess than they always are. So people are just sort of in a waiting pattern, or at least a lot of borrowers are just in a waiting pattern, wondering what their monthly is, wondering how much they owe, wondering how the income-based program is going to work. And now all of a sudden the Trump administration is saying, oh, if we determined you were in default, guess what? You're going straight to collections. So let's go to the first piece we got on the docket, the CBS one, Colin, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. So student loan borrowers are struggling to pay, and they get answers as debt collections begin. So this started yesterday on Cinco de Mayo, nonetheless. I mean, how terrible. So the Department of Education says federal student loan borrowers who do not pay on time could damage their credit scores and even have their wages garnished beginning May 5th. This is causing challenges for some of the more than 5 million borrowers who are in default and struggling to get answers about their loans. I don't think anyone takes out a loan with the intention of not paying it back. It's how easily can you pay it back? That's the problem, said Jenna Hartwood, who owes more than $40,000 in student loans from her nursing degree. We're kind of drowning, she says. So 2 years ago, Hartwood's son was born with a medical condition, and to treat it, Hartwood exhausted her savings and took out money from her 401k. During the pandemic, student loan payments were put into forbearance, but when repayments resumed last year, Hartwood said she was never notified. After hearing the agency's collection decision from the news report, she checked her account, and she said she was in shock. I had no idea that my loans were delinquent at that point. I checked my every email. I got statements that had a 0 on it. Paris Yu, an expert in student loan law, said steep job cuts at the education department and steps to dismantle it have left the loan system in disarray. Borrowers cannot get answers from their services, said Yu. Many of the services have hours-long call wait times just to get a simple answer. How much do I owe? How do I pay my loan? So people don't know how to pay their loans. They don't even know what exactly they're supposed to do. And now Trump is saying, oh, by the way, we just turned you over to a collections agency. This should be illegal on so many levels. This is so criminally predatory. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So let's go to the more perfect union tweet, because it's getting a little bit worse. So the Federal Department of Education is now alerting around 195,000 student loan borrowers in default that their wages will start being garnished in 30 days. So they're going after people's wages. All because of predatory loans. Which, by the way, they forgave all the PPP loans. Elon Musk got how many billions of dollars from the federal government? They spend how much money on all this nonsense? They spend how much money on war? We spend more than the next 13 countries combined on defense. But we have a predatory loan policy around students and around getting a college education. So people took these loans at the age of 18, not really knowing exactly what they were getting into. They were told, oh, you're going to get a good job. You're going to pay it off. Then those good jobs weren't there. So people were sold a bogus bill of goods when they were 18 years old. And a lot of them face a lifetime of debt because of it. It is criminal. It is exploitation. And it shouldn't exist. Student loan debt shouldn't be a thing. Medical debt shouldn't be a thing. All of it should be forgiven immediately. And it's not a thing in a lot of other countries. For those of you who are like, oh, Ron, you sound utopian here. Really? A lot of other countries already have this. You know, and I'm not saying that utopia is out there. It isn't. But guess what? They don't have medical debt in the UK. They don't have student loan debt in the UK or the EU or Canada. They don't have that. They just don't. Because they finance those things the way they're supposed to. And they have systems in place to have those things the way they're supposed to. They have single-payer healthcare. They have programs in place so that tuition is either very, very affordable or free altogether. We don't have that here in the United States at all. At all. So that's what's going on there. And again, not trying to be alarmist, not trying to be funny, just being real with you. If you have any type of student loans, check today. Don't check right now. Wait until the stream's over. But check. Seriously. Like I'm not, just check, make sure. Because there are people who didn't realize they were in default, who all of a sudden, hey, you're in default, and now their wages are going to get garnished. So just make sure, and it is just so freaking evil. So freaking evil what's happening. Just so criminally evil. I mean, I can't even, like, evil's the only word that comes to mind at this point. You know what I mean? Like how else can you describe it? Y'all, please smash the like button. Please share this stream. Please leave a super chat. I'll get to all the super chats at the end. I want to know your thoughts. We got a lot of stories today. We got a couple more for you. For those of you tuning in late, I am Ron Placone, your host. I'm filling in for Jordan Cheriton, who is on paternity leave. And I love coming at you on Tuesdays. It's really fun to be back here. I've not been on Status Coup as frequently, so it's good to be back. And once my tenure here filling in for Jordan is over, we're looking into a way to kind of be a more permanent fixture here over at Status Coup. So hopefully I will have more to announce there very, very soon. But I really want to make that happen. So that is being explored slowly but surely. All right, so let's go to the air traffic stuff, Colin. Let's go to get ready to be terrified, y'all, because we are going to go to air traffic control. We'll start with the CBS tweet. This is wild, by the way. This is absolutely wild. What's going on at air traffic? It's crapic, that's for sure. Air traffic control. Newark Liberty Airport continues to face massive disruptions with over 800 flight cancellations and delays of up to 5 hours due to staffing issues and air traffic control system failures. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warns similar delays could spread nationwide and says he plans to announce a multi-year overhaul of the ATA system. Keep in mind, DOJ laid off a bunch of people around air traffic control, and the Trump administration laid off a bunch of people around air traffic control. This is them dismantling an already very, very flawed and tragic system. And also keep in mind, this can go back to the 70s because that's when they started deregulating all the airlines. They started from the 70s till now, deregulating the airlines, giving them whatever they want, especially during the pandemic. There was a large upward transfer of wealth to the airlines. Did it go to the workers? No, absolutely not. It just went to the higher ups. And now DOJ is dismantling these systems. And now even air travel is not guaranteed here in the United States. Let's go to the other tweet about Newark. So Maddow reported that air traffic controllers had completely lost sound or sight of any communication with the planes they were directing for a minute. Know how far planes travel in a minute? Some controllers were sent on leave, others were in tears, and some let it be known that Newark was unsafe. Don't fly here, they said. So let's go to that article, Colin, and then I want to watch the let's go to the Mediaite article. And then I want to watch the video, or it might just be the audio, but we're going to listen to the audio. I listened to it before the stream started, and it is it's hard to listen to. And you know, again, the context here is that air traffic controllers literally don't know where the planes are. They just don't know where the planes are, and they need to know where the planes are because if they don't, that's how planes could potentially collide. I mean, this is absolutely terrifying. Let's go to the article first. We'll read a little bit of it, and then I want to listen to the audio here. I don't know where you are. So I don't know where you are. This is the audio that reveals the chaotic moment when Newark air traffic controllers suffered a radar blackout. Can we get to the article, Colin? So CNN on Tuesday aired audio of a stunning moment between an air traffic controller and a pilot when Newark, New Jersey's airport suffered a radar outage. Newark Liberty International Airport has been plagued by significant delays and cancellations stemming from air traffic control staffing shortages. The issue has become so severe that United Airlines even advised customers to avoid the airport altogether. It's not really an easy airport to avoid, by the way. Making matters worse was a technical issue that resulted in air traffic controllers losing sight of planes. Although the issue was brief, lasting roughly 30 seconds, according to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, it was enough for at least 5 controllers to take trauma leave. Wow. Can we listen to the audio, Colin? Let's listen to the audio. It is so, like, just listen to this. Just let this sink in.
And the breaking news this morning, an update from the FAA, now putting in place a new ground delay at Newark Airport. And with that, we're also getting some new details in about the scary communication breakdown that set off what is now 9 straight days of disruptions at one of the busiest airports in the country. Already today, dozens of flights have been canceled or delayed at Newark. Major airlines like Delta, American, Spirit. Audio has been obtained by CNN, giving us a glimpse into the moments air traffic control lost communication and radar with planes in the air, leaving them essentially flying blind. The incident on April 28th was so traumatic that sources tell CNN at least 5 FAA employees have now taken special government leave to recover from the stress of it. Here's some of that audio where the tower tells one plane that radar is down.
No, you do not have a Bravo clearance. We lost our radar and it's not working correctly. Radar service terminates, squawk VFR, green change approved. If you want a Bravo clearance, you can just call the towers when you get closer.
Okay, I'll wait for that frequency from you, okay?
Okay, no, the squawk VFR, look up the tower frequencies, and we don't have a radar, so I don't know where you are.
I don't know where you are. I mean, do you? How terrifying is that? I don't know where you are, said the air traffic controller to the pilot who was trying to land at one of the busiest airports in the country. The busiest airport in the world. Well, let me double check this before I say it, but I want to say I think the busiest airport in the world is actually Atlanta. Here, I'll Google it too. Yep, it's still Atlanta. As of the recording of this, or at least as of the last time the data was collected, the busiest airport in the world is Atlanta, and we are letting our air infrastructure crumble. That is terrifying for the entire freaking world. And again, the air traffic control situation, they were understaffed before. This problem didn't just start with Trump, but Trump and this administration exacerbated it because they were already understaffed, and this administration made it infinitely worse. They made it even worse by cutting back even further. Flights are getting canceled. It's been going on for 9 days, and even Sean Duffy himself kind of said that we can't really count on anything to improve anytime soon. This is beyond frightening. This is a society that is going backwards. We are going backwards to where the safety of air travel is going backwards. And we have the busiest airport in the world. Busiest airport in the world right here in the United States. So what we're doing isn't just a danger to ourselves, isn't just a danger to the entire country. It's a danger to the freaking world. Man. Let's see if let me just make sure we covered everything we got on this. Oh, here, we do have one. Let's go to the Fox News. The Fox News piece on this, Colin. Not Fox. It's from Mediaite, but it's talking about how even Fox News almost criticized Trump for this one. Almost. They backed out a little bit here. We'll dive into it. Fox and Friends co-host appears to agree that Trump administration is breaking the FAA. So Fox and Friends co-host Lawrence Jones appeared to agree with the notion that President Donald Trump is breaking the FAA as the show kicked off on Trump's favorite TV network. During the 6 a.m. open, the show played a clip of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries blasting the White House for issues affecting the FAA and air traffic control issues at Newark Airport. So here's the quote that Jeffries said. "You do know that the Trump administration has decimated the FAA in a variety of different ways. The Trump administration is breaking the FAA. It is," Jones can be heard muttering after playing Jeffries' remarks. It's unclear whether Jones was responding to the Jeffries clip or something else off camera. But minutes later, the co-host contended that Trump's transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, has not gutted the FAA. I don't know why. Hakeem Jeffries keeps saying that. No, and I think so. Jones responded, "No, and I think also a point where they can make their case to Congress of all the cuts they are going to make, and the reason why all the waste, fraud, and abuse." Because when you're understaffed, the best thing to do is to make it worse. Have even less staff. That's great. So there you have it. Fox News almost disagreed. They came really close. They thought about it. Someone thought it, but then they corrected the record really quick. Once again, talk about a propaganda machine. First of all, it's messed up that any president has a, quote, favorite network, and that favorite network almost maybe accidentally out of context criticized the president, but was really quick to correct themselves. And keep in mind the authoritarian fascist Truth Social post we read earlier in the stream. This is what a coup looks like, y'all, because that's what this is. And of course, over on the other side, we have the Democrats fighting back the best they can, right? No, absolutely freaking not. So here's our last story for today before I jump into the chat. A little while ago, AOC was in the running for an appointment at the Oversight Committee, and the Democrats decided to give it to a guy named Jerry Conley instead. Jerry Conley is very old and is fighting cancer. And I'm not trying to make light of that. I'm not trying to make light of the fact that the guy is fighting cancer, but for the love of God, you have, it's time for some new ideas. It's time for some younger people. It's time for, if you have some old person who's fighting cancer or a young up and coming person in the party who has this huge following and is inspiring people, and you're going to go with that other person. But that's what they did. And well, let's see how that is working out. Let's go to the first video we have here, Colin, on the issue, the one from Case Study. We'll go to that video
Stay
first,
on the Oversight
and
Committee
then
for
we'll go
a
to
second.
the
This
other
is one of the more
By-
high-profile committees, mostly because they can investigate most anything they want to investigate. Jerry Connolly stepping aside for health reasons, announcing that. Why is this turned into an internal battle to watch for Democrats? What are the specific dynamics here?
Yeah, so I think this is just kind of the classic generational struggle that the Democratic Party is facing. So Connolly essentially tapped Stephen Lynch of Massachusetts, and a more senior member of the committee who is, really citing his experience as why he is fit to serve in that role. But a lot of the committee, which is, known for being bombastic at times, they're more of a combative committee that often, they have viral moments and things like that. It's made up of a lot of younger progressives and some of these new members of Congress. And their argument is that they want, someone that's more of a fresh face. And they're also arguing that putting Lynch in that position, he was the third senior member of the committee, actually bypasses two black women ahead of him, which was Eleanor Holmes Norton of D.C., and then Jasmine Crockett, who was vice ranking member.
Who put him in that position? Was this Leader Jeffries' call?
So Lynch disclosed that Connolly had talked to leadership, so leadership had basically agreed to Connolly's wishes. So I think that, there's a little bit of a leadership struggle there that progressives feel.
Has Minority Leader Jeffries gotten involved here? Is he going to get involved in this? And what does it say about kind of the future leadership of House Democrats? Or are we reading too much into one committee fight?
He has not publicly gotten involved. I know that there's, likely some strings behind the scenes, but I think that it kind of speaks to the relationship here between leadership and progressives, not publicly. I know that.
Yeah, they appointed a guy with cancer over AOC, and that's not working out. So now, kind of up in the air again, and here's the update. So let's go to the Morning Joe piece that Jordan shared, Colin. Here's the update on where things are at right now, and what's going to happen next. By the way, smash the like button, leave a super chat. I'll get to all the super chats in a little bit here. This is our last story for the day, so I will get to all the super chats here very, very shortly. But yeah, let's go to that final
Alexandria
video
Ocasio-Cortez is passing on the chance to seek the top Democratic position on the Oversight Committee. The New York Democrat ran for the job last year, but lost to Congressman Jerry Connolly, who's now stepping back from the role for health reasons. She cited her party's preference to select more senior members of Congress for leadership roles as an obstacle to a potential run. Ocasio-Cortez has been drawing large crowds alongside Senator Bernie Sanders at rallies around the country in opposition to President Trump's policies.
Rev, nobody ever said that Congress was a meritocracy. I understand that AOC may be more progressive than a lot of people. I also understand that she's one of the most articulate, exciting people in the Democratic field. She goes out with Bernie Sanders, and yeah, she just draws so many people. It's very good, very effective in hearings. We've seen a lot of people. Nancy Pelosi was a progressive. When Nancy became leader, she realized she needed to represent the entire caucus. AOC certainly could do that as well. After the election, she was going around talking to people who voted for her and Donald Trump, saying, "I want to understand why did you do that? What's that? What don't I understand?" I just listen, Democrats. I mean, and we're going to talk to Dave Weigel about this in a second. Their approval rating is just absolutely disastrous. They don't need to keep getting people like in retirement, past retirement age, being their voice. They need somebody young like AOC. And again, it's not about ideology. She can carry the message forward for a Democratic Party that really needs to reach out to younger Americans.
First of all, if Nancy Pelosi was ever a progressive, I wasn't. I'm pretty sure I wasn't born. So if there was ever that day, I don't know what he's referring to. But so literally, I mean, who would have seen this coming? That the guy who has cancer would have to step down from a position because of health issues. Who could have seen that coming? And now AOC doesn't. She doesn't even want the gig. The Democratic Party is a freaking train wreck. And it is so disturbing that is electorally, that's basically the only thing standing in the way of a straight up fascist regime. A straight up fascist regime. And, we have two political parties that have any type of electoral power, which is less than pretty much all other democratic experiments in the world. And our parties, the Overton window on our parties is neoliberal. That's definitionally what the Democrats are. And by the way, neoliberal doesn't mean new liberal. It means neoliberal. Neoliberal means just basically deregulating everything and letting the market just do whatever it wants. And that's what the Democrats are all about. They would be considered a right-wing party in pretty much any other industrialized nation. They'd be considered right-wing in Canada. They'd be considered right-wing in Mexico. They'd be considered right-wing in the UK. They'd be considered right-wing. I mean, they are, for all intents and purposes, a right-wing party. The Republican Party is, by definition, a fascist party. So you have neoliberals and neo-fascists. And here's the other kicker. One leads to the other. Neoliberalism will lead to fascism. That's what it does 100% of the time. Trying to fight fascism with neoliberalism is like trying to fight a fire with gasoline. It ain't going to work. And that's where we are electorally in this country. And it really frickin' sucks. And that's why, I don't vote shame people because, look, this is a terrible situation. This is a terrible situation. I can't judge people by the way they're trying to deal with it. But what I can say is that we really got to break this whole system down. And the one thing that we're learning is that things change very, very slow until they don't. Until they don't. And right now, we're seeing an acceleration happen. But we're seeing an acceleration happen in the wrong way. We're seeing an acceleration happen where they're taking bad things and making them worse. That's what they're doing. They're gutting what little social services we have, which is very, very little, and they're making it worse. And they're replacing bad institutions with worse ones. There's a lot of problems with our Department of Education, but what they're doing, what this administration is doing, is making it worse. And who's really behind the realms of all this? Well, a Nazi. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Nobody voted for him. He is unelected. And he is a Nazi. Again, this is a coup. This is a straight up coup. And you look at what Project 2025 is really all about. It's really just an extension from the Bush administration. It's the same thing with the New American Century as the New American Century. So they never really dropped any of that stuff. And now they got their guy Trump to institute it. So this is all connected. And by the way, Trump's continuing the war machine. Trump is continuing the war machine. He's not been better on foreign policy at all. Just like we knew he wouldn't be. This is something. This is something. But the best thing we can do, the absolute best thing we can do, is just start in our neighborhoods. Know your neighbors. Get to know them. Cooperate with them. Collaborate with them. If you can grow food, do it. If you know people who grow food, participate in that. Learn about mutual aid networks where you live. Be involved if you can. Know who your school board is. Know who your city council is. Know how things work around you to the best of your ability. How does your internet work? Who's in charge of that? Is there a city option? How are you getting your food? How are you getting your groceries? That's where change needs to start. And I know that might not sound like a lot or sound significant, but it's very, very significant because guess what? Most of the politics, even with everything that's going on now, most of the politics that affects your day-to-day life, most of it is local or state level. Most of it. So the good news in all that is that you can do something about that. You have a voice there. And you have a voice far outside of electoral politics. You have a voice to engage in your community. You have a voice to protest. And you have a voice to go on frickin' strike. And you guys know me. The big picture fix for all this is a general strike. I do believe that. I believe anything less is insufficient. Will a general strike happen in this country? I don't know. I'm not gonna bullshit you and say it for sure will, because it might not. But I know we for sure have to try. And trying starts right in your own backyard. So that's kind of my take on today, y'all. As air traffic is crumbling, as a predatory loan system is going to garnish the wages of American citizens, as authoritarianism is spreading via tariffs. That's basically where we're at. And keep in mind, there's all kinds of stuff. Got measles. Measles are spreading here in the United States. What a time. What a frickin' time. And before I go to the chat, I will make a few announcements. First of all, are you in Seattle? Do you live in Seattle? I'm coming to Seattle. I'm doing a show in Seattle May 23rd. You can get tickets and more information at romplacone.com. Again, that's Seattle, May 23rd. Can't wait to see you. Gather with some like-minded folks. Enjoy some comedy. I can't wait to see you, Seattle. It's been a couple years. Another thing that I'm doing this year, if you want to attend the show, but you are low on funds, email me. Just email me. You can go to my website, romplacone.com. There's a contact form. Those emails go right to me. So go ahead and email me. Also, are you in Los Angeles? Well, my new play Termination Fee, which is a scathing commentary on the American healthcare system, is going on in June. It's going to be part of the Hollywood Fringe Festival, and it will be playing as part of the Hollywood Fringe throughout June. We're in the Black Box Theater of the Broadwater, which is a freaking beautiful theater right in the heart of Hollywood. Our dates are June 8th, June 16th, June 21st, June 24th, and June 29th. And you can find tickets and all information at romplacone.com. Once again, times vary on those because it's part of the festival, but check it out. So yeah, romplacone.com for anyone in Los Angeles or anyone planning a trip to Los Angeles. Please be careful if you're going to do that. Please be careful. But yeah, romplacone.com for all that. And last but certainly not least, if you're not in Los Angeles or Seattle and you're not going to be there anytime soon, please, or even if you are, please do check out my movie. Again, my movie is called Left at Wall. It's been 4 years in the making. It is out now. It is an anti-capitalist comedy that calls out the Wall Street machine. So my first movie calls out Wall Street. My second production, which is going to be a stage play and a feature film, calls out the healthcare industry. So yeah, I feel like I got to round out that trio. I think I have to go after the War Machine next. But anyway, Left at Wall, check it out. You can get it on Apple TV. You can get it on YouTube Movies. You don't need to leave YouTube. You can rent it right here on YouTube. You can get it on Google Play, blah, 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 blah. There's all kinds of places you can get it. If you're not sure where you can get it, go to my website, romplacone.com. It lists all the ways you can get it. And you can even buy it on DVD if you prefer physical media. And yeah, if you can't get it because of country territories, email me. There is some territorial things when it comes to movies. So email me and I'll get you situated. And yeah, the movie again is called Left at Wall. Just Left at Wall. That's Left at Wall. So let's go to the chat. First of all, shout out to our new members, Patricia and Sarah. Thank you so much for joining the Status Coup family. Your membership helps keep on the ground journalism alive and well here at Status Coup. It sends Ashley on the beat in New York and elsewhere. It allows us to be on the beat in East Palestine, in Flint. It puts Tina on the beat here in California and elsewhere. It keeps Johnny F on the beat. Keep in mind, here in Status Coup, we covered over 100 Palestine protests. We were the only outlet in the world, literally in the world, to cover the UAW strike every single day that it went on. Even I was on the ground there. I was on the ground for a little bit there. That was an amazing time. Johnny F and I had a wonderful, wonderful time. And we covered East Palestine, Flint. Jordan has a book out on Flint. So yeah, your membership helps make all that possible. Colin, let's do the super chats and the memberships. Let's get to it. Nikki, what's up? How are you? Pelosi progressive made me gag. I wish. Yeah, that was sort of, well, I guess by Morning Joe's standard. What does progressive mean by his? I think it's the same standard as getting into the progressive caucus. It just means you have progressive car insurance. So maybe Nancy Pelosi has progressive car insurance. But yeah, I hear you. If she was ever progressive, like I said, it's long before any of us were around. You know. Vivek, what's up? Good to see you, Vivek. Vivek Chibber. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing anything. Nailed it talking to BGJ or BJG, sorry. Both party bases are in revolt against the neoliberalism of the donor class that controls both parties, and they're just spinning right or left coded rhetoric. Thank you for your thoughts, Vivek. Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed this up. Dave, you're the chatter. Wow, I really messed this one up. Sorry about that. I'm like reading fast and my mouth's going faster than my brain. Dave, first of all, Dave, good to see you. And I was wondering why I was so confused reading this. I had a total brain fart here. Vivek Chibber, which I might be mispronouncing, apologies, nailed it talking to BJG, which I'm imagining is Brianna Joy Gray. Both party bases are in revolt against the neoliberalism of the donor class that controls both parties, and they're just spinning right or left coded rhetoric. I hear you. Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Thanks for sharing that. I don't really watch any YouTube shows. So yeah, I did not get to see that myself, but thank you for sharing that quote. Teresa, how are you? Good to see you, Teresa. Always wonderful to see you. And you gifted 5 memberships at the Fight the Power level. Thank you so much for doing that, Teresa. Thank you for gifting the 5 memberships at the Fight the Power level. I'm still not exactly sure how the protocol of all that works. But Colin knows, and he's on, which by the way, I forgot to give Colin his shout out. Give it up for Colin. He's on the 1s and 2s and the 3s and 4s. Willie, how are you? Dude, Willie, good to see you. I've not seen you around in a hot minute, so it's always wonderful to see you. I hope you're doing well. Ron, when are you doing a show in North Carolina? Hopefully soon. I love North Carolina. Drop me an email or a message, Willie. I know you know how to get a hold of me, and let me know where are you at in North Carolina. Give me a town, and then we'll see what we can make happen. I do have some family out that way, so hopefully soon. Admittedly, I'm not touring as much as I have in years past, and there's a number of reasons for that. Some of it is just how ridiculous it is traveling these days. Honestly, that's a big reason why I don't tour as much as I used to. But there's other reasons as well. One of them is I'm producing a play and another movie, and so I've been producing more stuff, which has kept me in LA, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, but drop me an email. Last time I played North Carolina, it was Asheville. Love Asheville, wonderful town. But like I said, I do have family out that way. So drop me an email, Willie. Let me know where you're at. What else do we got, Colin? We can't hear you, Colin.
That is all of them. Still can't hear me?
All right. No, I can hear you. You're here. You are here. All right. Thank you for that, Colin. Well, now you're gone again. You were in for a minute, then you left. But yeah, we got you. Can't hear you. Oh, man. Guys, become a member of Status Coup so we can get Colin a new microphone. We're going to get Colin a new mic. If you joined right now. Colin's getting a microphone. Colin is... Those headset mics, man. I mean, Colin, I want you to be... I miss... And Colin, you don't have to respond to this because I guess you're having some issues with your mic. But I miss your cat ears setup. You used to have the cat ears. And I think there was a microphone headset there too. But I don't know what happened to the cat ears. Remember your cat ears? All right, I think you said yes. I'm pretty sure I got. We still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I missed the cat. Maybe the cat ears had a better microphone. I don't know. But y'all, if you join over here at Status Coup, we are going to get Colin. We're going to get Colin a new microphone. So yeah, thank you guys so much for your super chats. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back. If not before, I might be coming at you with a short or two, depending on what's in the docket here at Status Coup. But I will definitely be back on Tuesday. So, see you next Tuesday is sometimes code for a not nice word. But in our case, it's a literal thing where it's like, I'll see you next Tuesday, because I will see you next Tuesday. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Again, for anyone who's newer here at Status Coup, I'm filling in for Jordan because Jordan is on paternity leave, and I will be with you on Tuesdays. And my name is Ron Placone. You can check out everything about me, and you can watch my movie and get tickets to any of my upcoming shows at ronplacone.com. You can get tickets for Seattle or tickets to see the play in Hollywood. Then I'll be having some more dates throughout the year, but that's what's going on right now. And you can go watch my movie Left at Wall. Again, it's a fun anti-capitalist comedy that calls out the Wall Street machine. And you can watch that right here on YouTube. You can rent it on YouTube. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Can't wait to see you next week, if not before. And again, this is Ron Placone on behalf of Status Coup, signing out.